How you doing, everyone? It's Kevin. I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to be working on the leather vise. I made this leather vise just to stick on my bench in the house so I could sew my leather. And I just did one sheath on it, and a lot of you guys have watched the sheath that we had built for the that was the chef's knife. And I had a little bit of trouble. I had trouble trying to get the leather in there and tighten up the nut, because every time I tighten the nut it would spin on the other side. So I think I have a cure for this, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit close up and show you what problems I had. Alright, the first problem we had is I couldn't turn this nut and tighten it down, and I was trying to hold the leather, so it was a little bit hard for me to turn this and to tighten it at the same time holding the leather. It just wouldn't work. It was a little bit hard to do. So a few of my viewers on there said something about a spring, and then I got to thinking a spring would really be nice, to have a spring, some way of holding these jaws together to keep the leather into place until I can get it clamped. Well, one viewer mentioned that he could send me some, I forget the kind of, it's an insert that would go in this wood, and then all I would have to do is turn one side. And that would be okay too, but I had come up with something just a little bit different, so I'll show you that just a minute. Well, another problem that I had when I was sewing, and the reason why I didn't want to go with the nut that would go inside the wood and I'd be able to use one hand, is when I was sewing and I'd pull that the thread tight, it got caught around these. It would keep getting caught on each side of these where this big washer is. So really, I think the washer and the all thread here has to go. We're going to have to eliminate it altogether. So we're going to take it out, and we're just going to throw it off to the side. That, in my part, it wasn't a fail, because we did learn something. We learned that we can't use this on that. So that left us with this here. And my solution is I did find a nice little spring. It's a pretty stretchy spring, which is nice. That's what we want. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert the spring right through the hole in one side. And then I'm just using a couple toothpicks here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a toothpick, but now this is not how it's going to be. I'm just showing you how I'm setting it up here. This is not actually how it's going to work. This is how it's going to work, but I got some more things to do. We're going to change these toothpicks out and put little pieces of metal in them, but I'm still going to just take the little piece of metal and insert it into the wood a little bit so my thread don't catch it. So now that allows me to go in one hand, and now I got, that will hold my leather into place. I might shorten that spring just a little bit so it's a little bit tighter. That's no big deal. Now for clamping, well, I thought I would take one of these clamps, and I would cut a slot about right where the bolt was, and I'll be able to cut the slot straight in and be able to slide this into place. And that will hold it there. That way my hands are free to hold the leather and tighten the clamp up. So then I'll have that. Nice thing about this is there's nowhere for the thread to get stuck on this clamp. So I'm hoping this is a little better setup than the last one, but we'll see. Only time will tell. So I'm going to get to working on the little, well, I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and cut the slots. We'll cut the slots in this guy right here for our little clamp to set in. We're not going to make them big. We're only going to make them as big as that little piece right there. Just that big. Trying to get that lined up right with the 2 bolts. Now we're going to go ahead and get us a couple slots cut in here. They're not going to be very big. It's just going to be small. Just big enough for a clamp to go through. Alright, I got my little mark cut out where I'm going to cut it out. I'm just going to take it to the bandsaw. We'll do the best we can getting it cut out. Alright, we got these cut up, so let's just slide them on. Now, we should be able to take this guy and slide it in the slot, and it should just hang there. We don't even have to tighten it. And then when we want to tighten it, we can just squeeze it down and we got it good and tight. Break it loose, same way. So we could put it on either or side if you're right-handed, left-handed, whatever you want, whatever's best. But the nice thing is, with it setting like that, it's already into place. When I go to put my leather in, it should snap shut on there. And we could go ahead and clamp our leather down. So that will be our clamp. We're going to use that as our clamp. I think that's going to work better than what we did. Now, for the spring, I'm going to take some old, just rusty old finishing nails, and I'm going to cut the ends off of them and make them just like a little piece of round dowel. Just going to chop the ends off. I don't need real big pieces. So we're going to cut us a couple little ones. About the same size if we can. Get them as close as we can. Okay, so these are going to be what goes through my spring. And the spring, we're going to shorten it up a little bit. And I'm just going to do that by bending a piece of this out. And then we'll cut it off. If I can get it out. I just wanted it a little bit shorter than what we had. So I'm going to snip a little bit of the spring off. We don't need it all. So I've got a little bit shorter spring now than what I had before, which is going to be nice. Give it a little bit more snug on there. And then our little pieces of metal are just going to go through these two little loops here. And I'm just going to take a little chisel and knock two little slots in there so that this spring and the little clip that we put on there is going to be below the surface of the wood. Okay, now that's going to allow my little piece to be almost down below the wood. I could actually tap on that with a hammer and maybe get it to go back down in there a little bit more. I just don't want my thread to get caught on that nail or anything. See how I got it right there? I just want this little nail to make sure it don't catch my thread when we're sewing. So let me take that over to the, it's actually down there pretty good, but I might just take it over to the anvil, set it down there, and just tap that thing right down there so I have a nice little slot. Okay, I took it to the anvil and just tapped on it. It really made a nice indentation down in there to hold it into place. I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. Okay, we're going to get to putting this thing together now. I beat both them down in there, so those little nails that we cut off are perfectly flush now. When we put them in, they're perfectly flush with the wood, so we don't have to worry about them getting caught on our leather. Now we could just stick our clamp right where we want it in place there. We don't even have to tighten it or do anything to it. We can leave it loose and we can still spread this thing open and put something in it. Now it holds no problem with the pencil or anything. Let's try this piece of wood. No, it ain't gonna fit in there. But anyhow, I think it'll be okay. This is something a little heavier. It holds that center punch. And then when we're ready to tighten it, we just reach over here. We can hold our leather and give it a good clamp. And now I think we're going to be okay. You know, I didn't have a blueprint for this or anything. I just built it out of my head. So you got to work the bugs out of anything. So I think this might work. Hopefully, we'll see. Alright, that is the leather vise. We'll be giving it another try here real shortly. I have a new knife built, and we're going to be doing the sheath on it. So that's going to let us try it out, and we should be able to try it out on camera there. We'll try it out with that new sheath for the steak knife I built. So I would like to tell everybody thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe, leave me thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment if you'd like. Until next time.